I just recorded a bunch of talking. I got like way too into talking about these wheels that I was like, no, let's talk about them as I skate. So we're cutting all that. Anywho, here's the deal. These wheels, they're gonna change skateboarding, I think, forever. You're gonna wanna buy a pair of these wheels no matter which kind of wheels you prefer, and that will definitely get explained throughout the video. Currently, I will be taking apart my beloved Acid Chemical wheels that are 52 millimeter REM formula. This is my favorite wheel of all time, and I'm gonna be setting these up, and for very, very good reason. This park is extremely slippery.
Oh yeah.
And you'll see, there's a million reasons that you're gonna want these wheels, and it's not just because they look cool. Now I like my wheels extremely hard, to the point where when I have to get my bearings out, this is my technique that I have to use. And although this is definitely my all-time favorite wheel, you might be thinking, Dan, why are you showing us wheels that you don't ride for? And there's a reason for it, which will also be explained, and it ain't money. They didn't pay me to do this. I do really like this about soft wheels. Like, it's so difficult to get bearings out of wheels and in wheels, but with these, you can literally just, because they're so soft, you can just kind of do it with your fingers. And of course, we're gonna be riding these graphics in, since I don't ride for POW or Bones wheels. So right now, I switched the back two wheels to the new secret Powell Peralta Bones formula, and then the top two wheels are, in my opinion, my favorite wheel of all time. They're loud, they're hard, and they don't flat spot. And that's my big issue with the Bones STFs, is when you do tail slides, they don't squeak very loud, they're kind of more quiet. And these also don't flat spot, but he somehow made them like hard and loud when I slide. So like, if I do a power slide on my back truck, like it makes a noise. Even though this ground's super slippery and it shouldn't, they make a noise. So here to like sort of show you the difference of the one thing I don't like about the new formula, we'll call them the experimental wheels for reference point, is I'll do a nollie kick turn, which will be on those new wheels, and then I'll do a big kick turn on my normal wheels. So it's like this. Quiet. So here's my wheels. Hear that little, nice little scraping, but on these wheels, but even though these are insanely soft, I mean, I could literally like, almost feel like I could dig my fingernail into it. They slide just fine. So I'm gonna do a nollie lip slide on this curb on my wheels, and then nollie lip slide on the curb on these wheels to show that they both slide the same. Good slide, good sound. Oh, yeah. I'm a fan. Now here are the experimental wheels.
It just made a
like good slide, slid the same,
yeah,
but
different sound.
No sound. And what's like, I cannot express this enough. They skate exactly like soft wheels. Like when you roll on shitty ground, which I will demonstrate later, you're gonna be like, oh, it's all the benefits of soft wheels with the benefits hard wheels. The big difference is aesthetic. So I assume that it might become a common practice for skaters to have these on deck, like when it comes to skating rough spots. Like I feel like every skater should own these wheels, not as their main set of wheels, but as like a, I'm gonna go skate a crusty spot.
Yeah.
Where this skate park I'm going to is particularly slippery.
Yeah.
Like I watched Andy Anderson skate Chevy Chase. I actually filmed the whole video there with him, and he was like very in control, not slipping out. And I knew he was riding these wheels, but I assume because they're slippery, it's gonna be slippery still on slippery ground, but they actually grip good on this kind of ground, but then they slide good on rough ground.
Yeah.
So
backwards.
Like, yeah, it is kind of backwards. It's like, if you really, really like super slippery parks, I guess maybe don't skate these, but to me, I like having a little bit more grip, especially when I skate like vert ramps and stuff like that. Like I'll set these up if I skate vert, because I like having a bit of grip. When I slide, I'm always afraid I'm gonna like loop out all weird or power slide when I'm not planning to. So if I go to Magnus's vert ramp, I'm skating these, because skate light, outside slippery, this gives me a little bit more grip, a little bit more stability. Let's do a nose slide, because maybe you think, oh, maybe the friction will be different for nose slides. So I'll do nose slides on this, I guess, curb. There's my wheels. Man, yeah, it's so quiet though. Skate a little transition now, do this little power slide to Smith slashes on both trucks.
Oh! That sounded crazy.
It's crazy on how, like, can you hear the difference from over here? I love the acid wheel sound, man. But god dang, if I go to a street spot, which we're going to later today, it is well known to be a very rough spot. So like having wheels like this is gonna be ideal, especially with transition. All right, so there's no real need for me to go through like, okay, here's me doing flat ground flip tricks, here's me jumping downstairs, because like none of that really
doesn't apply to
No, it's wheels.
what we're experimenting with today.
Yeah, we want to see how they slide, and how they wall ride. Those are the three things: slide, wall ride. So you're gonna have fun following me sliding all over the place.
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna be very sturdy, very in place.
I'm gonna do my best.
Feeble grind on the ledge was important because, first of all, it's the best trick ever you can do. Second of all, it really shows that when you pinch hard on a ledge with these, the inside of them is going to slide well enough. But I will say this, sort of a strike against it. You grind round rails, like if you 50-50 round rails, and you pinch super hard, like I dig in as hard as I can for round rail 50-50s and stuff like that, since they're soft. So you do grind ever so slightly slower. Let's scratch around in the transition a little bit so you can not hear me, but see me grind around and see just like a regular board.
It's going to be seen and not heard.
No real weight difference. I feel like these wheels are ever so slightly heavier than the wheels I'm riding just because they're not worn down. Let's do some long grinds and see if I can intentionally dig my wheel in and see if I can make it slow down. I'm pretty sure you won't be able to pick it up. It's so slight, I imagine no one's gonna notice it besides like real sticklers like me.
Oh my god, that back.
You could hear it. Oh, that was silent.
Let me try to sit on a smith grind for like at least 2 feet to show. That's like the most you can really dig into a ledge is feeble grinds on ledges, smith grinds on ledges, and I really want to show like, they go.
You wheel bit on the top and it kept going.
Sean pointed out on that board side transfer up, I got a real gnarly wheel bite and it just kept going because
He didn't stop, it just kept going through.
the wheels are slippery, they just kind of zip past it. So like hard wheels, they're not slippery, they're just hard. So
Yeah.
I imagine you might get a little bit less wheel bite with these.
Yep.
Now, I hope that I'm not like influencing anyone when I'm saying like I really like my wheels to be loud, and people are like, all of a sudden I want my wheels to be loud too. I can't skate those, because that really is personal preference. And I know most skaters definitely put function way over aesthetic, and it doesn't make me skate any better. I just like the sounds. So if you're looking for like the smoothest ride you possibly can have and something that is like consistent and controlled in rough streets, I definitely recommend getting these. Some people are going to switch over to these like as their main wheel, like Andy did. Whereas like I feel like other skaters are going to almost have like a quiver of wheels in the sense that not even a quiver of two, really. Like the wheels you normally ride, and then these. Like, I am so excited that I have these, and I imagine that every other wheel company is going to start doing something like these. I know that other wheel companies have done versions of something like this. I've skated some like other like kind of random versions of them, and I flat spotted them.
Oh,
they just like they were just like kind of soft wheels.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess that they were like smaller size, but they skated a lot like soft wheels. They definitely didn't slide as good. And there isn't really any problems that I've had with them other than deep pinch 50/50s on round bars.
Deep pinch.
And that's not even like a problem. It's just something that like I somewhat noticed. I mean, I feel like one of the big indicators is the feeble grind and the lip slides and like the leading into a board slide on a ledge. Like, there's just so much slide to them. In fact, I'd like to get your opinion of them, since you've been skating hard wheels at this park already today and sliding around.
It's slippery already.
I mean, it's not your board, not your setup, not your trucks, but you'll get an idea of it. Yeah, let's switch off.
Like that grip, but it still allows you to like
slide. It turns like a super slippery skate park into just like a normal, slightly slippery skate park. Like, I don't ride for this wheel company. If you find something that feels funky about them, let me know, because I want to be an honest review right here.
They slide in their grip, so if you're that person that wants to have best of both worlds.
Yeah. The best ad ever. Sean's pushing these wheels so much. Sean's like, I don't have a wheel sponsor. I'll slut it up. The other set I skated for a lot longer, and the tread is slightly still on there. Yeah. From this was street skating a bunch. The only reason that I switched to these ones, those are, I think... Say that again?
They slide in their grip, so if you're that person that wants to have best of both worlds.
Yeah. The best ad ever. Sean's pushing these wheels so much. Sean's like, I don't have a wheel sponsor. I'll slut it up. I want to tear them apart a little bit, but the only thing I can really come up with is like the 50/50s on round bars.
I'd be really keen to try? Skate these for like a week straight, just like skating like roads and like street spots.
Like hard skating?
Yeah.
So the other set that I have, the other set I skated for a lot longer. Oh no, the other set's the one that I had for a month, actually. I had these for a month, and the tread is slightly still on there.
Yeah,
you can see it. It's still there, but like it's a little bit rougher, and this was street skating a bunch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're perfectly fine. The only reason that I switched to these ones, aside from the fact that they're the newer of the two, is those are, I think, the softer versions of these. So there's different hardnesses, of course. They're actually talking about making like a hard version of that formula, which I'm really interested to see what that would be like. Or a harder version, I should say. Let's get you.
All these wheels.
They're just experimental. I don't know. I don't know if they have a name yet or not.
Oh yeah, Bones experimental formula.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's get you in the transition.
On this.
Yeah. Is the board what's intimidating, not the wheels?
Yeah, and your trucks are loose compared to mine.
They're not that loose. It's because you're so strong and tall. Let's get you.
All these wheels.
They're just experimental. I don't know. I don't know if they have a name yet or not.
Oh yeah, Bones experimental formula. Everything feels normal except for they allow you to like grip and slide.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird combo.
It's fucking my head a bit.
It does. When I first started riding it, like if you've ridden soft wheels before, you hesitate on a lot of your power slides and stuff like that. But you got to lean into it just like a normal wheel. And once you're past that weird learning curve, you're like, oh, sick.
Let's see if I can do a dance trick.
What's your? Are you gonna do a backflip on flat ground? Fuck yeah. That's your. I stole that from you. I started doing nollie lip slides on like curves just because.
He told me it was illegal. He said, "Don't do that trick. Look what happened to Dan Majura."
Yeah, he tried to nollie lip a handrail and got bodied. But then they're like a really fun low effort trick on low ledges. So then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start doing it.
Trick.
I am going to the East Coast this year for 2 weeks. Be traveling from New York City all the way down to Washington D.C. filming a bunch. I'm definitely gonna have these wheels set up probably the entire time, because I did not forget how rough the ground is over there. So that's gonna be fun. All right, here's where the more important comparison happens. Skating street. Oh, that is nice. Like, these cracks aren't as jarring. Like when there's a deeper crack in the ground, you just bounce over it like a soft wheel. Another fun thing about soft wheels, he just hit a fart rock and fell. That doesn't really happen so much with soft wheels. You kind of bounce over stop rocks. Since they're softer, you kind of just like dig them into the ground and then go over them. Okay, Sean's officially already hit 2 stop rocks. I don't even know if the spot's a bust anymore. It's been really like mellow lately, but I see that there's no homeless people, which is usually an indicator there's a lot of homeless people. Probably not a bust. So I'm just gonna pump around and just make the point. If you've ever seen anyone skate this spot, They probably struggle to get speed. I haven't even rubbed my wheels on the ground yet, but I do remember the struggle of carving around here, so hopefully I can just skate it like a park. I filmed a bunch of tricks at this spot with normal wheels, and I definitely am familiar with the struggle of that. And just in those little laps, I can already tell speed's a lot easier. Like, what sucks about spots like this, when there's like thick cracks close together, is you feel like you almost like hydroplane across the ground. So sometimes right before you hit the quarter pipe, it'll jar your truck out to the side a little bit. And with this, it like stays kind of true. Does it feel smoother?
Yeah, like it's not as static as my board where it's just like,
oh yeah,
like
you
there's
feel
a bit
like
of cushion.
Yeah.
It's way better.
I would love to have a full-blown session on this spot. I've definitely filmed a bunch of tricks here, but my rib is on some other shit. I'm definitely skating too early. I thought yesterday when I filmed that shoe video, I would be ready to actually go out and skate, and as it turns out, it hurts to breathe in deep. So I'm gonna take another break from skating, which is like a tradition on my channel where I skate for like a couple days and then take a break because I'm in pain.